Morning, everybody. I'm not sure what time it is. Probably about 9 or 10 o'clock. It is. Actually, I can look. Anyways, we're out here. We're out here on the property, as you can tell, enjoying our little camping trip. You know, social distancing, as they call it. Enjoying a cup of coffee. This coffee's for Jason. You want to say something?
Hey everybody! We're having a lot of fun out here on our property. This is the longest we've been able to stay out here, and we've really enjoyed it. It's been really peaceful. Quite windy at night, but we really like that it's windy up here because we plan on possibly setting up wind generators in the future for off-grid power. So if it stays windy up here, that'll be a really good source of power for us. We've been cooking over an open fire, which we really like doing. We both grew up camping throughout our lives, so we're really used to doing this. A lot of people don't know this about me and Jeremy, but we actually lived in a 22-foot Sioux-style teepee up on some friends' land before we had kids. And we lived in that thing for almost a year. And we really, really enjoyed it. And we plan on getting another teepee eventually for camping. Yeah, there's a teepee.
There's a teepee up the road. Later on today, we may drive up the road and I'll turn the camera around and I'll view it. I'm not gonna go on someone else's land without permission.
But it was really neat to see that somebody else had a teepee. But yeah, both of us grew up camping. I actually I'm gonna get on this side. I actually grew up in Oregon, and me and my family, but my family went to medieval reenactment events and mountain man rendezvous. So, growing up camping, I absolutely love being off-grid. And I'm going to get something to show them here.
If you can reach it. Anyways, we have a PayPal, and in the about, I have a link to our PayPal. If anybody would like to help us out to get the proper camera gear we need and a laptop, we'd be more than grateful. So, and we also want to thank everybody that's coming over from Jason's channel and subscribing. I know 32 is not a big number, but going from like 10 or 13 up to 32 in one night, that's awesome. So we got a day planned on stuff, and as I said yesterday, I was cutting down. You know, I've been cutting down trees, trying to cut down all the big trees that are sellable to try to sell them. And there's still a lot of dead standing trees out here, like you can see right here behind me. Where's it at? This big one right here. All right, there. You can see it's dead. We're afraid that if a storm comes through and it blows the wrong way, it could fall over on our tents and possibly kill me, my wife, or one of our kids. So at some point today, we got to get our tents taken down and moved, and I'm gonna fell it. I'm not sure which way I'm gonna fell it, but the way it's looking, I may have to try to fall it in that gap right there, as you can see where I'm pointing. Yeah. Try to fall it that way. But like I said, I've been going through here and trying to cut out all the dead trees because they present a hazard. And there's a widowmaker right there in that tree. See it? Yep. There's a widowmaker right there up there. Yep. I've worked for a logging crew. I didn't work very long for them. I had court back in 2007. I had to go to court, and because I didn't work that one day, the dude fired me. I had a legitimate reason. I was like, well, what was I supposed to do? Work and miss court and then have a bench warrant for my arrest? over $50 a day. I drove a semi truck for almost 5 years. I had a wreck in October of 2018, and basically, I was in the left lane. Had my crew set about 75 miles per hour, fully loaded, about 78,000 pounds altogether. And a slow driver in a semi truck decided to jump out in front of me, so I had to lock up the brakes real fast. Well, I started sliding to the left, and there was nothing I could do. I went off in the median. I hit the cable barrier, come back up, and at the last second, I managed to regain control, and I pulled to the right, and there's a bridge pillar coming towards me. And when you see, I saw that bridge pillar, and I saw, my life flash before my eyes, and I missed that bridge pillar by maybe 10 feet. It might have been more, I don't know, but I avoided a serious accident. And that driver, if I could find that driver, man, I would have whooped his ass. And, pardon my language. I sometimes cuss like a sailor. My dad drove a truck for 25 years. My mom's dad drove a truck for 45 years and then retired and passed away 4 years later. My dad passed away, how long has it been now? 4 years. 4 years. My dad passed away 4 years ago, and that was the whole reason why I went and got my CDL. When I first got my CDL, me and him we hardly talked, but he told me we may not talk that much, but I sure am proud of you for getting your CDL. I've been to every state in the United States except Rhode Island. If I've been to Rhode Island, then it was when I team drove with a friend of mine, and I must have been asleep and we went right through there. But the northeast United States, y'all can keep that part. I've been out to Los Angeles. I've been out to Los Angeles 100 times. I love driving in Los Angeles. Been out to Washington a few times. A couple years ago, we got to go up and see. I got a trip going from Elk City, Oklahoma to Oregon. Well, the dummies who I drove for, they didn't have my permit for Oregon. You got to have a fuel permit to go through there. If you don't, you'll get a big ass ticket. I get to the weigh station and didn't realize I didn't have a permit, so I had to sit there I had to go up the road to a rest area or a truck stop and sit there for 2 days and wait on that permit. It finally comes through. I get to the delivery. I got lucky that I didn't get fined any money, but I did have to pay a late fee for that load. And I was like, what was I supposed to do? It ain't my fault. It's my company's fault. There was no one in the office, and I couldn't get a fuel permit. But I miss driving a truck. But as of right now, that's not something I want to go back to. I would do it. I would jump back in the truck to drive like a log truck or a dump truck or do something locally. But if I could buy a truck, it'd be a Peterbilt 379 or a Peterbilt 359. My dad drove a 359. And my kids, anytime we went on the road, after a couple of days, they're like, "Can we go home now? Can we go home?" My wife loved it. She loved riding on the truck. I'd set my cruise. When I first started, I could drive 2.5, 3 hours before I had to pull over. I built my body up to where I could drink a whole 1 liter Pepsi and drive for 8 hours before I had to pull over. I do my pre-trip in the morning, take off, and drive my allotted time I had. I'd get down the road. I'd make 500 miles in that first 7 hours and 45 minutes, pull over, and stop for the night. If I was feeling up to it, I'd drive another 2.5, 3 hours and knock out another 150 miles. I'd knock out almost 700 miles a day. When I drove for a friend of mine, we knocked out, we knocked out a lot. Let's just put it this way. I went to bed in Midland, Texas we had to have wheel seal and wheel bearings replaced on I think the rear of his truck. It started leaking, so he had to have it repaired. I went to bed when he took off. When I woke up, we was in Phoenix, Arizona, or something like that. I asked him, I was like, where are we at? He goes, Phoenix, Arizona. I'm like, you drove 1,000 miles? I was like, how long have I been asleep? He goes, about 17 hours. I was like, are you kidding me? So here I am. I sleep 17 hours after driving. I don't know. I drove from, I drove, I did a little more driving than I was allowed to. When we finally stopped, that's when we noticed the seal was leaking. So we had to have it repaired. We get to Phoenix, and he went to bed, and I had to take over. And we were driving a Peterbilt 379, and it took me a while to get the trailer in the dock, but I finally got it in there, and oh, there goes his bicycle, fell over. Yeah. But I got it in there after a couple tries, and I do gotta say, a lot of people out there in cars, they don't respect truck drivers, and they think it's the truck drivers that cause the accidents. It's not. After driving a truck for 5 years and seeing all the idiots that cut drivers off, and you gotta think, if that truck's fully loaded, 80,000 pounds, you can't stop on a dime. Whereas a car, like my car right here, I can basically get up to 70 miles per hour, hit my brakes, and come to a stop in about 5 seconds. And a semi truck, fully loaded, it's gonna take 200 yards to come to a complete stop. Empty, you double that. An empty truck takes longer to stop versus a loaded truck because you got all that weight pushing down. But anyways, I'm gonna hand the phone over to my wife and let her talk for however long she wants to talk. So, Crystal?
You are so long-winded.
I am long-winded.
God. Sorry, y'all. My hand was in the camera. Anyhow, that's a little, back history on our lives. We've been together for
10 years.
10 years now?
10 years.
Been together for 10 years now. We've known each other since we were teenagers.
Since 13.
Yep. So we've known each other for a long time. We haven't always been on the same page with everything, but we've grown together and come to really be on the same page as far as lifestyle goes. When we lived on our friend's land in the teepee, we enjoyed living off grid and stuff, and we've gotten on the same page with wanting to homestead, have a small scale farm, and
took us 7 years to find this property.
Right.
Every year we'd find a piece of property and would be just about to buy it, and somebody else would buy it up from underneath us. Well, I came across this on Facebook Marketplace, and the guy that was selling it, I was like, what do we got to do to keep you from selling this out from underneath us if we want it? He said, well, he goes, give me a $500 deposit and you can send it to me through PayPal. I was like, I ain't gonna send it to you through PayPal. Like, if you would, draw up a contract and meet us, and I'll give you the $500 after we sign the contract. So that's what we done, and we gave him the $500. And what?
We'll see what he needs.
But anyways.
Yeah, thanks to Brad Kenyon. That's the gentleman we bought this land off of. We own it outright. So the property we currently live on in Arkansas, we're actually about to be paying that off next year. So we are going to own both our properties outright, and it's taken a while to get to this point in our lives. I'm 37, he's 36. It's taken us a while to get to where, this point in our lives, and things are finally, straightening out for us and getting to be where we want to be. And it's just, that's how life goes. Sometimes people can get to be where they want in their lives sooner. at a young age, some people it takes a while. A lot of people it takes a while, but you keep having a dream that you want to fulfill, and you keep, pursuing it, and eventually you'll get to where you want to be. You'll get your dream. We have a lot of work to do on this property, but we are really happy with this property. We're going to see about buying the 2 lots on either side of us to have more
I'd like to buy
land.
Buy the one that butts up to our corner back there. Goes that way from Brad.
I know.
So that way it gives us more hunting.
We'll have a really good piece of land to do what we want with it. And our ultimate goal is self-sufficiency. And to be able to provide for ourselves. And that's one thing we have always wanted to do, was become self-sufficient. And to be off-grid, yeah, we like certain amenities, like, being able to watch TV and, stuff like that.
Well, we don't have cable at the house. And
we don't have cable.
We don't have cable. I use
his mobile hotspot.
I use a mobile hotspot, which I don't. The phone I'm using right now, I take my SIM card out of, and I put it in a Galaxy Note 4. It's an AT&T phone. This phone's a Cricket phone. So if I turn the hotspot on this phone, it's slow. I put it in the Note, and it's super fast.
But we are trying to become debt free as much as possible, and anymore, that seems to be the new American dream, is to be debt free, and more people these days are wanting to be off grid and homestead and to become self-sufficient, and we think that's wonderful.
I see what you're doing.
And it's a wonderful thing getting back to how people lived a long time ago. My love of Native Americans. I used to live in Oklahoma when I was married to my ex-husband. And I've always had a love for Native Americans and the culture. So Oklahoma has always felt more at home to me than anywhere else that I've lived. And so I'm really happy to be back, have a piece of property here in Oklahoma. Very, very happy about that. As far as off-grid living goes, I found this little, for camping, when this camping trip has helped us to see what gaps in our supplies we needed to fill and stuff. You always got to kind of jump into something to see what else you need to do to improve. And one of the things we needed was a little lantern in the kids' tent for a nightlight, basically. Well, I found this little doohickey at Walmart. It is a solar-powered little lantern, and as you can see, it's real compact. And here, open that. And it expands into a lantern. You can hang it up. And what is really neat about this little thing is you can charge it either by the little solar panel on top or by USB charger, which is really cool. And it has another USB plug-in right there, so you can charge like your cell phone with it. And on the bottom here is like a flashlight
Put your shirt.
part. And this little sucker is pretty bright. The package said that on the lowest setting, this little thing will last 6 hours, and on the bright setting, it'll last 3 hours. We've kept it on the low setting and fully charged, and it's lasted the 6 hours. It's lasted pretty much all night for the kids. It gives them a good night light. And so I got this thing, wanted to try. I just got one, so that way we could see how well it worked. And I'm going to get more of them. They're compact, so I can get more of these to put in each of the kids' go bag for them to have in an emergency. And we can get more for when we go camping and other emergencies. They're pretty dang bright.
If it wasn't going to rain tomorrow on Tuesday, it'd probably stay up
Probably
here
still
all
stay up here, yeah, but it's supposed to rain. Hang on. Anyway, so I found this little doohickey. I'm not being paid to promote this. I just thought I would share this with y'all. A little, thing I found. I think it's really cool. I love anything solar. Absolutely love anything solar. We're going to get solar lights. I would love to get solar panels one of these days. A solar shower. I love anything solar powered. I love renewable energy. And I love anything multi-purpose. Anything that can be used in multiple stages. I absolutely love. So we're going to be getting more of that stuff for off-grid living. And here soon, for coming up on the property, we're actually going to be buying a camper. Make it a little easier on stuff with the kids. And of course, we'll still keep our tents for, other camping trips and whatnot. But anyhow, we just thought we'd share, our little camping experience out here. It's been nice and peaceful at night, very quiet. We haven't had any problems. Heard some raccoons to the west the other night just chattering away, but they didn't come bother nothing. So it's been really good out here. We are totally happy. We'll be, uploading more videos. Hopefully some better videos.
See you soon.
Very good, JD. Like he said, subscribe, hit the like button. If you like our videos, we really appreciate it. We are a young channel, just getting started. So, hopefully we'll be coming out with better videos and be able to do more on the new homestead, what we're doing. Did you tell them the new name?
Yeah, in the last video I did. But anyways, the name for our channel now is Razorback Ridge Homestead. As I said, we're from Arkansas. We love the Razorbacks. Our property is basically on a ridge, and we're wanting to homestead this, so therefore we thought the name was fitting.
And we found wild hog scat.
Yeah, there's wild hog scat in a few places, so Razorback Ridge Homestead.
I didn't know my practice.
Are you singing?
Yeah.
You gotta cut that out.
Yeah,
they'll flag that.
Anyway, we're gonna get off here. Hope y'all have a good day. Hit the like and subscribe button, and we will see y'all next time. Bye-bye.